2020 will always be remembered as a strange season in motorsports history. The COVID-19 crisis has changed the calendars over and over again, and it was not easy to complete full championships. WRT's most important event of the year was a total 24 hours of Spa. This year, it was held at the end of October, in very autumnal conditions.
It is a very strange atmosphere. It's not very pleasant, I must admit, and I think for the drivers also, it plays, and on the crew, it plays on the mental side a little bit. You prefer to be popular than not seen at all. So that makes it a bit more difficult, but in the end your job is still your job and you still do it the same way, whether there is 100,000 people in the grandstand or none at all.
The 24-hour race in October is very different from a July edition. There is more racing in the dark, 14 hours in total, and weather conditions are changeable. Tire temperatures play an even more important part, but there were some unexpected problems to solve as well.
Everything is more complicated. Like for the strategy, we have a guy, very clever guy from Australia called Ken Douglas, and he's not allowed to travel. So we are doing that by remote. He's online, he's speaking to us, but he's not physically here. So he cannot feel, like when it's damp, when it's raining a lot, he can just hear and see on TV, but you don't have exactly, the same feeling when you are remote and outside of Europe.
But as always, the Audi Sport WRT team came well prepared. Vincent Vossen managed to form 4 very competitive driver combinations. They are all capable to cope with the difficult conditions and compete against the other car manufacturers entered in the toughest of GT races. Except,
due to COVID, Audi Sport decided to withdraw its DTM drivers. We had 2 of those. René Rast was supposed to be with us and Robin Freins. Those were withdrawn at the beginning of the week. We lost Mirko to illness, those are 3 key drivers that we lost on the 2 factory cars of the 6, which is massive. Then you have to compromise. I think Mathieu Vaxivière, Ferdinand, they are all with Dennis Marshall. They're excellent drivers, but they have been called the day before the first practice. So it's again there, lack of preparation, lack of bonding, which is inevitable.
Mathieu Vaxivière, Dennis Marshall and Ferdinand Habsburg will share the 30 car. For the latter 2, it's their first time in the Spa 24 hours, and they only have a couple of hours to try and form a team. The other works R8 is in the hands of Dries Vanthoor, Kelvin van der Linde and Christopher Mies, while the 32 is shared by Charles Weerts, Eda Mortara and the old wise man of the team, Frank Stippler. And there is also a car in Silver Cup for Rick Breukers, Stuart Hall and Benjamin Goethe. Let's go 3 months back in time. WRT celebrates its 11th birthday in 2020, but never the workshop has been so calm at the beginning of July. The pandemic has stopped all racing since the beginning of March, even though everything was ready to start a long and hectic season. WRT was entered in several championships in 2020, but obviously their plans had to be changed quite a bit.
In 4 months we will do what we were supposed to do in 8 months. So it's going to be tough in terms of logistics.
Ce qui est sûr, c'est que tu n'as pas droit à la pit purge, donc tu n'as pas le système non. Mais après les tuyaux, les trucs qui sont un peu amovibles, etc., ça il faut qu'on prévoie.
The R8 has entered in the German ADAC GT Masters and SRO's GT World Challenge. And WRT has also 3 Audi RS5 in DTM for Harrison Newey, Fabio Scherer and Ferdinand Habsburg.
We will have 3 cars instead of 2 last year. It's still a young team and we still have to learn a lot of things, but it's a nice challenge, and running those 3 cars, it's quite a big challenge also. So let's hope that we will do well.
There is a real calm before the storm now, but soon all team members will have one single goal in mind.
We are really hoping to come to an end of 2020 with great result. As you know, in GT we have some new regulation concerning the tires. It has quite a big impact on the setup of the car, and we were able to find a way to turn around.
Back to the total 24 hours of Spa for the first practice session. The members of the WRT team look worried. Is it the new tyres? The October conditions? One thing is certain. In these dry and not so autumnal conditions, the Audi R8 is not really among the frontrunners.
We have no front. No, car does not rotate at all.
So we have to go back?
Yeah.
The drivers are having difficulties to fight with the Mercedes, BMW, Bentley, Lamborghini or Ferrari and Porsche. The best of the WRT cars is in 22nd position. That might seem far from the front, but the fastest 30 cars are separated by under 2 seconds. A small setup change could have favourable consequences. WRT is a top team with lots of experience. After a quick debrief between drivers and engineers, the mechanics modified the setup of the cars before the night qualifying session, which will be held on a wet track. Conditions have changed massively and are now more in favour of the Audi drivers. The 33 ends up in 25th, third in Silver Cup. The 30 car, driven by the three newcomers, clocks an impressive 15th fastest time. The 32 is in 8th, while the 31 claims provisional pole position, with Dries Vanthoor setting the fastest lap time overall. Relief in the WRT camp. 3 of their 4 cars qualify for Friday's Super Pole, something that was not expected only a couple of hours earlier. One week before the Spa 24 Hours. This is a DTM weekend in Zolder. WRT participates in its second season in DTM, and the Belgian squad forms the only privateer facing the works teams. WRT's aim in this high-level championship is to enter young and talented drivers in order to help them climb the motorsports ladder.
Well, it's just got the highest percentage of driver quality, I'd say, probably almost in any championship in the world. It's definitely on par with Formula E and Formula 1 when it comes to the driver quality.
After a first learning year, WRT starts to reap the rewards of its efforts in their second season in DTM. The team now understands the ins and outs of this very competitive championship.
All my driving career helps me to understand what the driver feels, what the driver needs. It's like Vincent Voss, you know, we've been racing both, so we know exactly what happens when you're in the car, you know, and what the driver's wishes.
Audi Sport decided to withdraw from DTM at the end of 2020, so Vincent Voss's team will only have participated in 2 seasons of the championship. But before they leave, the team is determined to impress. And what better place to do that than at his home event in Zolder. Saturday's qualifying starts very well. Ferdinand Habsburg puts in a near-perfect lap and claims a front row position. There is a noticeable tension on the starting grid, especially since the two other WRT cars are in 6th for Adrian Newey and in 9th for Fabio Scherer. Things are looking good for WRT.
Three, 2, 1, go, 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 go.
Ferdinand Habsburg takes a great start and holds on to 2nd position behind future champion René Rast, also at the wheel of an Audi RS5 DTM. Behind it's door-handle racing. Harrison Newey is pushed wide, but he is able to keep his place in the chasing pack. Habsburg concedes his 2nd place to championship contender Robin Freins, but in 3rd he is able to hold off the BMW of Aberdeen. In the WRT garages, everybody holds their breath. It's a tight battle, and just before the pit stops, Newey loses a position.
Box, save the tires, ALS off.
These F1 style tyre changes only take some seconds, and the WRT mechanics are among the best. Ferdinand Habsburg finishes the job and takes an excellent result in Zolder.
First podium of WRT, enjoy it, mate. Well done, nice job.
Finally!
And on top of that, we are quickest in the pit stop, 1 and 2.
You guys are awesome!
A well-deserved podium finish for Ferdinand Habsburg, a 5th place for Fabio Scherer and 7th for Adrian Newey. This result shows WRT deserves its place in DTM against teams that have plenty of experience in this championship.
It was a very long time since we've been waiting for this podium in DTM. The guy did work very hard, and it was a great result for the team to achieve that on a home race. It was great, and obviously having the 3 cars in the point, it's a great achievement.
The next day, the team writes DTM history.
Pole, mate, pole!
Ferdinand Habsburg continues his strong run and takes pole position, the first for a privateer team in the history of the championship.
What a machine, nice.
This strange 2020 season marks the end of a chapter in DTM in which WRT has left its mark, and sooner or later, the team might be back. One thing is certain. The performance of Ferdinand Habsburg did not go unnoticed, and he was a logical choice to join Vincent Voss's team for the Spa 24 Hours. Superpole is held on Friday afternoon. It's a peculiar exercise, for the drivers only have 2 laps to clock the fastest lap possible. At the wheel of the 30 car, Mathieu Vaxivière takes 17th on the grid. Then it's Edo Mortara's turn, and he ends up in 12th at the wheel of the 32 car. I think we have to go down on tyre pressure, and since we're last, we'll have the advantage of the track. Kelvin van der Linde is one of those single lap specialists, and he takes the wheel of the 31.
Ready to check, please?
Yes, ready to check, loading clear, loading clear. 10 seconds away now. 15 seconds away. 2 tenths from pole, 2 tenths from pole. Push!
The South African driver takes some risks, but not too many, for it's impossible to match the qualifying times.
Sector 3 purple, we need 2 tenths. Push, push! P2 mates, P2, good job.
In the end, he's only 28 hundredths of a second short for pole, but the 31 WRT Audi will start the 2020 edition of the Total 24 Hours of Spa from the first row of the grid. This strange season started in Italy, in Imola. At the end of July, the first race of the GT World Challenge is held, and immediately WRT strikes hard. Bortolotti, Van der Linde and Vaxivière take the win, showing the hard work of the team during the first lockdown bore its fruits. Better still, 1 week later, during WRT's first weekend in the ADAC GT Masters, Dries Vanthoor and Charles Weerts take the spoils at the Lausitz Ring. And that's not all. We're back in Italy now, in Misano this time. Vanthoor and Weerts take the win in the GT World Challenge Sprint Cup race. Charles Weerts confirms the high expectations observers have of him and shows what he's capable of at the side of his still young but already very experienced teammate. There was no stopping WRT and GT3 in this strange 2020 season. Van der Linde and Tomita win in Zandvoort, and in Barcelona, Vanthoor and Weerts become the Sprint Cup champions.
It was great things, so it's great to have won this championship. It's really something I wanted to achieve, and to be able to achieve it in my second year of racing in GT, it's quite something I'm happy about also.
And there is more. At the end of the GT World Challenge season, the team is crowned overall champion for their performances in both sprint and endurance races. Thanks to a wealth of titles and trophies, 2020 should be considered as an excellent season for WRT. But there is no denying that the most important race for the Belgian squad, the total 24 hours of Spa, did not go as planned.
Between all the races, we had a lot of clashes between different programs. And the preparation time of this total 24 hours of Spa was very tight. I have to say the team did a fantastic job in preparing the race and obviously staying focused for all the other races.
Spa, Saturday, October 24th. Never before did 24 hours of Spa have been run this late in the year. For this historical edition, there is not a single guest or spectator on the starting grid. It's up to the drivers to film this unique moment for prosperity.
Hey guys, Ferdinand Habsburg here on the grid now, filming for you guys to see what it's like here with Dennis. Say hello. Behind us is starting the Mercedes, Porsche in front of us, and this is where we're waiting for the car. Check it out guys, one thing to note, the track is looking a bit wet, but most of it is dry. This is very Spa essential knowledge, because on one part of the track it can be wet, some part it can be dry, but we have gone for slicks. Let's see how we get on.
24 hours doesn't matter, we're going for the Sprint Cup. No, I'm joking, long race. P2, always exciting to take the start, so let's hope for a good one. It's not easy conditions, but I have a good team, good teammates, so should be good. Send it, boy!
In this peculiar atmosphere, all drivers only want one thing: to get racing as quickly as possible.
Take a deep breath, take a deep breath. Good luck, mate.
Okay, buddy. Last word before the start. Stay focused. Start is important, but race is important. All right. I know you have the experience of it. I leave you to it, and have a good first stint.
At 4 p.m. the lights go green, and the cars start a 24-hour race with the longest ever period of darkness. As could be expected, the 31 is fighting at the front, with Christopher Mies at the wheel. The other WRT cars hold on to their positions. The 32, driven by Frank Stippler, is part of the leading group. The experienced Stippy knows well enough that it is not necessary to take many risks during the opening hours of the race. And the rookies in the 30 car follow his lead. 33 car competes in the Silver Cup and therefore has a gentleman driver in the lineup and is fighting for class honours.
We are P8 in class for the moment. It's good, you gain 1 place, it's good.
It's a calm start to the race, and in the WRT garages the crew acts according to the sound of the radio messages and the rhythm of the pit stops. During the final days of October, the sun sets over the Belgium track at 6 p.m. This is when things get really serious. And as could be expected when darkness is falling, this is when incidents happen. Charles Weerts is part of the top 15, and due to a safety car intervention, the gaps between the cars are small. And at the restart, things go very wrong.
Yellow turn 8, yellow turn 8. You okay? You okay? You have damage?
Yes, I have damage. I cannot drive anymore. Doesn't drive at all.
Charles is gutted. Not even 4 hours into the race, and one of the 4 cars is already out for the count.
Well, yeah, it was a yellow flag, and it was like an amateur group of cars in front. So I had to brake a bit earlier and slow down a bit earlier, like everybody in front of me did. Except the BMW of Katzberg behind me, he looked like he didn't brake at all, he just went fully in my back. So I don't know if he didn't see the yellow flag or something, but yeah, he just went flat into the corner like he would do normally, and he just destroyed the rear of my car. And there's no way to start again.
As rain starts to fall, Kelvin van der Linde is at the wheel of the 31. It's a short shower, but the track becomes slippery and treacherous. Exactly the conditions the South African driver loves. Kelvin is fighting for the lead, and at this level, every inch counts. All drivers try to stay as close as possible to the track limits, but race direction is watching closely.
Drive through this lap.
Why the fuck do we have a drive-through?
Track limits turn 3. Keep focus, stay calm, stay calm.
Absolute joke.
Okay, Moit, so it doesn't matter what happened, now focus. Come on, we're still in the race.
The 31 is still part of the leading pack.
I have no power.
What?
I have no power.
Kelvin Victor speaking. Try to go on the emergency page on the DDU and switch off P22-1, please.
I have to stop the car. Fuck, sorry guys.
A real cold shower for WRT. It's only Saturday evening and 2 of the 4 cars are out. It's a gloomy atmosphere at the GT3 graveyard of the Spa circuit. And nothing seems to work for the team. Only a couple of minutes later, the 33 suffers the first of its issues.
Mate, there's a problem with the car.
Box, if you can, box.
The rear right of the car is scraping against the floor.
Did you hit something? Did you hit the wall with the car or not?
No, I didn't hit anything, but I got the puncture going into Eau Rouge. I nearly had a crash. No, the rear right of the car is scraping quite a lot against the ground, so just seeing it up.
Benjamin Goethe enters pit lane on 3 wheels.
The hub was damaged, so we're checking it now if it's okay like this, but it is also possible that we need to bring the car back and change the complete assembly. Not very good.
The repairs will hold, but for WRT, all hopes are gone. For the 33, the troubles are not yet over. At 1:30 a.m, Benjamin Goethe hits the tyre wall.
I hit the wall. I don't know if the car's fine. It wasn't too hard.
Nothing serious, but the damage causes some issues during the driver change. During one of the next stops, the damaged door will have to be changed. This October night seems endless. For the WRT team members, the adrenaline is gone, to say the least. The drivers of the 30 car, Vaxivière, Marshall and Habsburg, continue without a single hitch. The 3 youngsters drive a solid race, a bit behind the leading pack, but that was to be expected. They are just inside the top 20, not making any mistakes. At the break of dawn, things get hectic in the pit box. The 2 cars will have their mandatory 4-minute technical stop in order to change the brakes on both cars and put a new door on the 33.
Mixed situation, you know, not as expected, but we are still fighting.
Is good. It's in a good shape. We had no real contact so far, so everything working good. We just miss a bit of performance, to be honest, since lap 1 in the dry. Yeah, we all 3 just try to make the best out of it, try to stay out of troubles, try to stay clean. That's the current situation, and yeah, we will see where we end up.
The car lacks that little something in order to be able to fight with the best. There is nothing the drivers can do. All that is left is to get to the finish line and take as much experience as possible on this difficult track during the biggest GT race in the world. Sometimes experience is gained through mistakes. The 17-year-old Benjamin Goethe is competing in his very first Spa 24 hours and is doing well. But at the end of the morning, on a very wet and treacherous track, he makes a mistake.
Fuck, I crashed. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
As long as you okay, it's okay.
I think we had a really good pace in the wet until that happened. So yeah, it's just a shame. I was really enjoying myself in the rain, and then yeah, that came out of nowhere. So I don't know what happened yet. We have to see, but yeah, it's really annoying and frustrating.
so there is only a single WRT Audi left. It will finish in 14th, and for Habsburg, Marshall and Vaxivière, that's mission accomplished.
Thank you for that. We finish P14.
Thanks to you guys. Sorry for the midweek of performance we had.
Yeah, it's positive that we finish. I mean, it was really a hard race for all the team and all the cars. I'm really sad for all the sister cars. But yeah, we made it to the end, so which is good. The team did an amazing job as well. We didn't do any mistake, just we were not, don't have the pace, but yeah, all the mechanics did really well, and yeah, we finished the race. This is the most important.
Only minutes after the finish, the engineers discover an issue with one of the differentials on the remaining car, which troubled the drivers since the start of the race. It makes their result even more impressive.
Obviously, we had something on car 30 which was making the car very difficult to drive since the first lap of the race, and yeah, that was a shame because I have the feeling we did not really give our driver the tool to fight for something good. So yeah, it's a shame. It's how it is. It's how racing is, and we have to cope with it, and let's focus to the next one.
It's been 4 years since WRT had its last success at the Spa 24 Hours. This year's edition only confirms the fact that this is one of the toughest races in the world and shows how hard it is to get a good result. In these troubled times, the trip might seem to be a bit surreal. For the last race of the season, WRT travels to South Africa to the iconic Kyalami circuit, some 10,000 kilometers away from its home base in Bordeaux. SRO managed to organize this race, and that is a great performance in itself. And even though there are numerous forms to fill out, PCR tests and daily checks to be taken, all goes without a hitch. WRT enters two factory Audi R8 on the African track. Both the 32 of Bortolotti, Vervish and Weerts and the 31 of Winkelhock, Vantor and local hero Calvin van der Linde carry a fitting livery.
Yeah, I mean, typically we have a lot of passionate fans, really race fans. They love the sport. It's just not so exposed, you know, like Formula One or whatever. So the GT3 racing, it's a new series that we're introducing into, let's say, to the South Africans, and they've caught on really well. Last year was a very successful event, a lot of fans here on track. Unfortunately, this year we're going to miss them, but hopefully, you know, the TV footage is going to be great and we can still entertain them.
South African people are car fans and race fans. And although it's an event behind closed doors, the Soweto drifters provide their share of the show before the start of the race. There might only be 12 cars on the starting grid, but all have top-notch drivers at the wheel. The level of this final race of the season is mighty high.
I think all 12 cars have a chance to win this weekend. It's you know, a very tough championship, and I think we're going to have a very clean race without mistakes to be at the sharp end by the end of the race.
It has been a strange season, 2020. With COVID-19, you know, first we're without races for months, was very strange for a lot of people, for all the mechanics and everything. Then we had a very compact season with races back to back for all of us, which was crazy. So we made this long trip to come to South Africa. Please enjoy it.
Saturday, December 12th. At 10:30 a.m, the first of the GT3 cars head for the final starting grid of 2020 for the final round of the Intercontinental GT Challenge. The Audi cars are not among the favourites, for they lack just a bit of speed. But WRT is confident that on the long runs, and thanks to the strategy, there is a way to get a good result. And we're off for 9 hours of racing. Tough luck in the opening lap, for the 31 car is hit at the rear. Four laps lost, that's the price to pay for the contact. For Winkelhock, all title hopes are gone. For his teammates, it's impossible to finish on the podium now. The drivers of the other car are fighting for every tenth of a second. Fred Verwijs is still in the leading pack at the end of his first stint. Charles Ritz takes the wheel of the R8 for the first time since he was appointed an Audi Works driver. The 19-year-old is impressive from the first lap, setting quick and steady lap times. Before handing over to Mirko Bortolotti, he reduces the gap towards the leaders considerably. The fight is on, but the WRT bosses take a break. Have you ever driven here, Vincent? Yes, but that was a long time ago. The circle already went in the same direction though. For before, it went the other way, but that was a long, long time ago. Was it the same circuit then? Yes, almost, yes. I've raced here in '95. You're already that old. Yves Weerts is without a doubt a great team director and an excellent businessman, but honestly, his weather prediction skills are below par. I don't think it will rain again. 42.8. I think he's quickest on track now. For his last race as an Audi Sport driver, Mirko Bortolotti is in excellent shape as well. Every single run is quick, and this sprint will last for 7 hours, and they fight for every second. But then the spring ocean climate decides the outcome of the race. Black clouds gather over the track, and shortly before Mirko Bortolotti hands over the car to Fred Verwijs, a thunderstorm hits Kyalami. After After a fabulous pit stop by the WRT mechanics, the Belgian rejoins the track on rain tyres. But even those might not be enough. There is no other option but to send out the safety car. WRT has to hold on for 1 more hour to end the year with a win. Unless the rules decide otherwise. All options are considered. What should be done? Leave Fred out and hope for a red flag to end the race or a restart for the last couple of laps? Or take another pit stop, which is mandatory after every 65 minutes? The engineers pick option 2, which at the very least would give them a second place finish.
The conditions are a bit crazy at the minute, so we didn't really know if it was going to be a red flag. In that case, we needed to stay out. But now the rain is disappearing a bit, so the red flag is less and less likely, so we had to take the decision to pit at the end. Drive through, because like this we reset the driving time and we can go up to the end without having to pit anymore. So it should be okay. The position should stay like this up to the end of the race, I hope.
The horrendous conditions last until the end of the race, and the race director does not take the risk to get racing again. Vervish, Bortolotti and Weerts finish only 0.2 of a second behind the BMW, driven by Sheldon van der Linde, Katzberg and Farfus.
It was incredibly difficult. It was just surviving. The aquaplaning was, I never had it, or I cannot remember when I had such a aquaplaning. I could not see anything, I think, for everybody, so it was really crazy. And then it's a shame after the full Cogello that there was no restart, because I think our car felt really good. But yeah, you never know what would happen, so yeah.
It's a magnificent podium finish and an ideal way to finish this strange season. Vincent Vos can be proud of his team.
And finally, Frederick Lewis.
Hi guys, that's it for this championship 2020. See you next year.
See you next year!